So here it is, the third and final horse enters the July blockbuster race. Move over, dinosaurs and capes, it's time for family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
The Fantastic Four First Steps rounds out a jam-packed month, which brought us the disappointing and stale Jurassic World Rebirth and James Gunn's messy but ultimately fun Superman.
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
Heralding the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Phase 6 and following a stretch of disappointments and failures from the more recent Marvel releases, the Fantastic Four First Steps has been burdened with the heavy expectations and hope that it can correct course for the MCU. But at a time when most people are tired and fatigued by superhero movies, it feels like this is the MCU's last defibrillator attempt to resuscitate an unresponsive audience.
Come on, Stark, stay with us.
Let me try
Stay with
something,
us.
okay? I have no idea if it's gonna work. Yes!
So is Marvel's first family the spark that reignites the flames of excitement, or is it too late to revive a fandom that flatlined 2 phases ago?
I'm tired, boss.
Well, after watching it, it's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's just a baby step. It's the most competently made Marvel film in years, and it's the best Fantastic Four movie out of all the previous iterations that I have seen. However, walking out of the theater, I couldn't shake the feeling that something felt off. I didn't feel the excitement. It wasn't really a bad movie, and I didn't hate it. The plot was strong, it was tight on paper, but somehow dull in execution. And ultimately, the film kinda fell flat for me, especially in the third act and its disappointing conclusion.
Disappointed!
The Fantastic Four First Steps is directed by Matt Shakman, and it stars Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, or Mr. Fantastic, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, and Ebon Moss-Backrack as Bang Grim, the Thing. Oh, and I have to talk about Pedro Pascal really quick. I mean, this guy literally has a phenomenon named after him. It's called Pedro Pascal fatigue. His fans love him and everything he's in. His haters love to hate him. At this point, this guy's like a cinematic jump scare. I mean, everywhere I go, I see his face. And I know that people love memeing about how tired they are of Pedro Pascal, but I didn't really mind him in this movie. He did a really good job as Reed Richards in my opinion. The plot of this film is self-contained and you don't really need to see any previous MCU films in order to understand it. It acts more as an introduction of this version of the Fantastic Four, which are going to appear in future iterations of the MCU. I really like how this movie didn't really spend too much time on the origin of who the Fantastic Four were. There was a quick montage at the beginning of the movie that kind of caught the audience up to speed of who these characters were, and I wish more superhero movies in the future take this approach. The story begins 4 years after the team was exposed to cosmic radiation during a space mission after something goes wrong, which gave them superhuman powers. Since then, they have become global celebrities and heroes. After trying for years, Reed Richards and Sue Storm are expecting a child. He's finally going to be a father, or as Pedro Pascal fans like to say, a daddy.
Daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
This causes Reed Richards to struggle with fear of uncertainty of becoming a father. He's worried that his child has inherited superpowers and that unknown weighs on him. As the team tries to navigate the difficulty that comes with welcoming a newborn and a changing family dynamic, an alien shows up on Earth, the Silver Surfer Shala Bao, played by Julia Garner. She informs the people of Earth that their planet is marked for death and will be consumed by the cosmic entity known as Galactus. Faced with this existential threat of annihilation, the Fantastic Four are confronted with an impossible choice, the weight of which threatens their existence and the safety of the entire world. The team is left to wrestle with the ultimate choice of what they're willing to sacrifice to save the planet while navigating unimaginable odds to protect their family. And that is pretty much the premise and the driving conflict of the movie. Technically, this film is very well crafted and very competently made. The cinematography is gorgeous at times, and there is some genuinely striking scene compositions. I was especially a big fan of this 1960s retro-futuristic setting. It was like a Jetsons versions of New York City, and it really did feel like it took place in an alternate Earth. The use of blues in the color palette was also very appropriate, and it worked for me. I swear I saw like every shade and hue of blue in this movie. I also really enjoyed the sound and music in the movie. Michael Giacchino's original score mixes classical orchestral swells with these retro twists that really fits the setting and tone perfectly. The CGI in the movie looked pretty good. Galactus in particular looked pretty badass, especially the first time you see him when he's introduced. He looked really imposing. The Thing looks really good and realistic, and even the Silver Surfer actually looked good considering that she's made out of a reflective surface, and that's really hard to do in CGI, but the end result actually came out pretty good. The casting was also pretty solid. Pedro Pascal played Reed Richards, who is struggling with the weight of protecting the world and his family, and you can really see that struggle in his acting. His performance is really a lot more nuanced and emotional. Vanessa Kirby also did a really good job as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman. Her and Pedro's chemistry was pretty good. You can tell that her character really loved her family and that she would do anything to protect them. Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch was probably my favorite of the casting. He really brought a certain charisma to the character, and he actually had an important arc relating to the plot of the movie. Ebon Moss-Backrack was also really good as the Thing, but I feel like he was the weakest of all the characters. He wasn't really developed like the rest of them are. Most of the times, the Thing was shown kind of walking the streets, but the self-loathing that the Thing's supposed to feel wasn't really explored, and his character didn't really have much to do. The pacing of the film felt a little uneven to me, especially in the beginning. It dragged on a bit, and it felt like it was spinning its wheels, causing it to feel boring at times. And I don't think I was the only one, because I swear there was a guy to my right that I occasionally heard snoring in the theater. There were also instances in this film where the pace would slow down a lot and then pick up really fast, and this was because there was multiple times in which montages were used to show the narrative passage of time. I guess the issue that I really had was due to the slow build-up, which felt good in the beginning because it felt like the plot was heading somewhere interesting, but then it kinda just fizzled out and lost me in the third act by ultimately devolving into a by-the-numbers conclusion that plays things so safe and familiar, it feels like something I've seen dozens of times before. It was lacking the emotional highs, the excitement, and the bold risks that it desperately needed to stand out. So to explain what I didn't really like and why, I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers now. Keep in mind, I'm painting with really broad strokes here. Okay, so pretty much Galactus gives the Fantastic Four an ultimatum. He promises to spare their world in exchange for their baby. Galactus needs the baby because he can tell it's really powerful and it's the only thing that can end his insatiable hunger, so he doesn't have to consume planets endlessly anymore. The Fantastic Four refuse to give their baby away because this is too high a price for them, so now they need to figure out a different way to save the world. And it just so happens that Reed Richards has discovered this teleportation technology, so he gets the bright idea to build these platforms around the planet and teleport it to a different solar system that has a Goldilocks zone hiding it from Galactus, which has so many plot holes, I don't really want to get into it. So things happen and that plan falls apart, and instead of teleporting the planet to a different solar system, they decide that they can just use the baby as bait, have Galactus personally come to New York, have him step on one of these platforms, pull a lever, and teleport Galactus to the edge of the universe, saving the world. So the day finally comes and Galactus shows up. He's like walking around New York City, he's the size of Godzilla, he's knocking buildings around. He catches on to their plan, gets a hold of the baby, so now they have to fight him. You get to see the Fantastic Four using their powers, but I was a little underwhelmed. I think they should have done more with them, and they didn't really work as a team. They just kind of went at Galactus one after the other. Seeing her baby in danger, Sue Storm gets powered up by her maternal instinct, and she starts using her force powers to push Galactus back towards the teleporter. And she's actually able to force him towards it, but she's overexerting herself. But working together as a team, they're able to push him into the portal. However, there's a timer before the portal fully closes, and Galactus attempts to escape. When Johnny Storm sees this, he decides to fly full speed at Galactus to self-sacrifice himself and push him into the portal with himself. But right before he does that, the Silver Surfer, having had a change of heart previously, pushes Johnny out of the way, and instead she pushes Galactus with herself into the portal as the portal closes and Galactus gets teleported. After the battle, because of exerting herself so much, Sue Storm is left on the ground, unresponsive and not breathing. Reed Richards then puts the baby on Sue Storm, at which point we realize that this is actually baby Jesus, and it uses its superpowers to revive his mom, and all is good and well, and we have a happy ending. So wrapping up the movie in this way, I felt like instead of doing something daring or unexpected, it played things safe and it wrapped up the story in a way that was predictable and frankly a little too familiar. It was the kind of ending that checked all the boxes without ever really surprising or thrilling you. Do you guys remember the post-credits scene from the Thunderbolts movie?
Extra-dimensional ship entering atmosphere.
Extra dimensional? What does that mean?
It's a cool ship.
This was actually the first glimpse we got of the Fantastic Four in the MCU. And this scene got many people asking what happened and how did they get there. And I thought that at the end of this movie, because they made the choice not to sacrifice their child, they were gonna ultimately lose the fight against Galactus and he was going to destroy their world. But right before that, they would use the teleportation technology and save themselves and the team by teleporting to a different universe in which the Thunderbolts, the Avengers, and the rest of the MCU were. And in my opinion, I feel that an ending like that would have had a way more emotional weight because of the consequences their choice led to. All that being said, the movie is not bad. I think fans of the characters will enjoy it, but because of some of the narrative choices, the uneven pacing, and a finale that didn't quite land, I walked away feeling like it was just another average superhero movie. And maybe that's just the fatigue speaking. Still, I really enjoyed the world, the retro-futuristic setting, the characters, and I think that there is a potential and hope to see something more ambitious done in future installments. So what did you guys think? Did you agree with me? Did you disagree with me? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.